Okay, we have looked at an overview of what thinking skills are, cognitive processes broken down into steps, how to teach them, teach using thinking frames and graphic organizers, what creative thinking skills are, creative processes broken down into steps and taught explicitly. Now we are going to look at critical thinking skills right here. Critical thinking is thinking that converges on a single point. Remember, creative thinking was thinking that diverges, convergent. You do something with information. Here is an example of some critical thinking skills. Now remember, high-level thinking is not a thinking skill unless you break the cognitive processes down into steps and teach it explicitly. For instance, inferring, comparing, analyzing, supporting a statement. These are all higher-level cognitive processes. They become thinking skills when we break the processes down into steps and teach them explicitly. By the way, research shows that to better comprehend reading, you insert these cognitive skills during the process of reading. I won't get into that. That's off on another tangent. Decision-making, ordering, evaluation, creating groups. Now, these are not the thinking skills. These are some critical thinking skills. A thinking skill can be any cognitive process broken down into steps and taught explicitly. Problem solving can be another type of cognitive process or thinking skills. Now here's some examples of using critical thinking skills. For example, ordering, a common cognitive process, and this is even a standard in one of the Minnesota standards. You break it down into steps, generate a list of interesting or important events, look at the criteria, in this case chronology, put them in order from first to last. And again, ordering, look at things, look at the criteria, arrange them in order of the criteria. I might ask students what are 5 things that happen this week in our world and have them arrange them in order of importance. The criteria is not chronology here, but it's importance. Or 5 things that have happened in the world. All right. Here's how you insert them into a curriculum or into general events to teach the process. All right. Post-reading activities. What are 5 things that happen in the story? Arrange them in any one of these criteria. Importance, chronology, interesting, boring, etc., etc. And here is the graphic organizer. Generate a list here and then put them in order there. And the criteria could be chronology, most important to least important, evil to good, etc., etc. Cognitive process broken down into steps. Comparing and contrasting, a common cognitive process. Break it into steps and teach it explicitly. Find things that are the same, find things that are different, find a big idea or conclusion. And we use this graphic organizer called a comparison chart. It's like a Venn diagram, except it's easier. Things that are the same, things that are different, big idea or conclusion. For example, in reading, comparing 3 Little Pigs to the true story of the 3 Little Pigs, similar, different. Comparing Luke Skywalker to Dorothy Gale, similar, different. Cognitive process broken down into steps. We use a graphic organizer to support our thinking. We looked at support a statement earlier. Statement, data, organize the information, and we use a graphic organizer. Support a statement, Dorothy was braved. That's all the data that supports that statement. Predicting, like inferring, you look at the question, you identify facts and clues, and you make a guess based on clues. Predicting is different than guessing. It's making a guess based on clues. And here's a nice predictogram. What will happen next? List the clues, then make the prediction. And again, we teach this not so students can do a predictogram, but so this cognitive process goes from external to in. That old Vygotskian idea that thinking goes from outside to in. Do this over several times over the year, students will eventually learn how to predict automatically. Analyze, break something down into its component parts. Look at the item, identify important parts, describe the whole in terms of parts. Analyze a story. Interesting or important parts in the beginning, middle, or the end. And you can analyze using a number of different criteria. All right, that is part 3, a basic overview on critical thinking skills. Part 4 is going to just kind of give an overview on approaches to teaching thinking skills and how you can use it to differentiate curriculum.